everyone, it's Sue. Sue's Cooking here. I'm actually going to change my channel to The Reluctant Chef, since many of you that know me personally know that I hated cooking when I started Pampered Chef years ago. So we're just going to wait for just a minute for everybody to jump on, and I figured I would tell you a little bit about the specials that are going on while we wait. So in January, if you don't already own a pressure cooker, an Instant Pot, or a different name brand, after I show you all of the things that you can do with a pressure cooker and what is different between ours and the one that you might have, you might be interested in the Pampered Chef Quick Cooker. And if you are, I'm going to post a link below if you just want to purchase it outright. But if you want to get it for 60% off, I put these up here so I would not forget. There is a 60% off, hey Alina, bonus special this month that you can get the pressure cooker for $96. And so you're going to be pretty excited about some of the other things that you can also get. At the end of this video broadcast, if I have time, I have my deluxe cooking blender on the counter. I'm going to make homemade peanut butter because I need to make some for tomorrow. Mine's almost gone, so it's pretty cool. So I'm going to show you, hi Jennifer, I'm going to show you a couple of the tools as well, but that is the bonus special for January. And I have a little special for those of you who want to host a virtual Facebook party. I'm doing 3-day parties now, and if you book your party after this class tonight by private messaging me, you're going to be in a raffle for, I have some accessories for the pressure cooker. Also, there's a special for the flexible cutting mats this month, and I just wanted to make sure that I told you about those because I tend to forget that during my time when I'm going live. And this is one of the flexible cutting mats, but they come, as you can see, in a set of 3, but I just wanted to show you the size of that. So we got like maybe a minute left, so people are going to be trickling on, and I don't want to delay too long because I know a lot of you watch this as a playback. So if you're watching, comment below, wave, because you get entered into a door prize if you've watched me live. Okay, so we're going to just get started. So pressure cookers, what is the buzz about pressure cookers? Well, pressure cookers can cook your food in a fraction of the time it would take for you to cook it in the oven. It can also cook the lower priced, cheaper cuts of meat, like chuck beef, like that you would use for a beef stew. You can cook that. Hey Mary, hey Tanya, hello Jen, welcome. You can cook that in a fraction of the time. So what would normally take you maybe 6 or 8 hours or 10 hours in a slow cooker on your counter can be done in 1 hour in a pressure cooker. And the meat is just as tender, it will fall off the bone, and I'm going to give you a whole range of recipes that you can do in a pressure cooker. And if you want the recipe booklets, what I want you to do is to just message me, private message me after, say I was on your pressure cooker class, send me the recipe booklet, and I'll attach a PDF file for that. So you can cook in a fraction of the time. I am actually going to start a recipe tonight, and I'm going to cook from frozen. So I buy part of Power Cooking, and for those of you who are a reluctant chef and don't necessarily like to cook but have to cook, I buy my meat in bulk, and so these are chicken legs and chicken thighs, but I'll buy chicken breast, I'll buy hamburger, I'll buy steak, I'll buy a pork loin. And if you buy it like at Sam's Club, you can buy a whole long pork loin and then you can just cut it up yourself. It's very inexpensive. And so what I do is I bag those in freezer bags and I put my marinade in them automatically. So I'm going to actually be cooking chicken teriyaki in the bottom here, and I'm going to show you some of the accessories, and then we're going to talk about all the different things that you can do with a pressure cooker. All right, you guys ready? So Pampered Chef pressure cooker is called a quick cooker. We call it R2D2. Can you hear it humming? So the first thing you need to know is this button here is the one that releases the steam. So when I push this button lifts. On some of the pressure cookers that you guys have, you actually have to touch the button where the steam comes out, which is a little dangerous. I know a lot of friends of mine that have a pressure cooker, they use like a spoon or something to poke it to release it, or they have to buy a special tool to release the pressure so that they don't harm themselves. So you don't have to worry about that. Super easy. There's a image on the handle here of a puff of steam, and you match the puff of steam so that they're both facing away from you. First thing. When you lock this and it comes up to pressure, the next thing you're going to find is this turkey timer little button right here is going to pop up. And once that pops up, that red timer, it is going to lock. So you cannot open your pressure cooker, so it's super safe. Now, I grew up with my mother having one of those pressure cookers that was like, you know, and she wouldn't let any of the kids in the, hey Sandy, wouldn't let any of the kids in the kitchen when she was cooking with her pressure cooker because it might explode. So those frightened me to death. So when I got this, I was pretty excited. The next thing you need to know is if you're going to do a lot of risotto, a lot of oatmeal or potatoes, things that are very high in starch, you're going to want to rinse the filter here. Just run it with a little scrubby brush. And the other thing I do is the pop-up timer, I call it the turkey timer, just has a little silicone cover, and you just pop that out and run water through it. Next, there is a silicone gasket around here. It's important that the gasket is on tight, and you can take the gasket off like this, just rip it off. And before I came live, I'm going to show you my cheesecake. I made a cheesecake with that black gasket. Now, when you're cooking foods, we have different colored gaskets. So, desserts might be one color, curry or something might be a different color, and black might be another color. So you just want to put on a new one if you're cooking more than one recipe at a time, because the gasket, when it heats up, will stretch out a little bit. It'll go back into shape, it's not a problem, and they are top shelf dishwasher safe for the gaskets. So I'm just going to put a new gasket on so that it fits tight when I put it on there. Next thing you want to know, your pressure cooker comes with a stainless steel bowl. Ours is dishwasher safe. I don't know if others are. And you're going to get a little tripod or three-legged stand that comes with it. There is a fill line on the inside right here. You can see that you don't want to fill your food past that, because with pressure cookers, you need to have enough air space in order to create the steam. We cook with steam. Now, you might not know, but pressure cookers were developed during World War I, back when we needed to cook with less energy. And so that's where they actually took off. It was a great invention. Our pressure cooker, different than others that are on the market, on the inside, you will see that we have a ceramic round base at the bottom. Now, why is the ceramic base important? A lot of people don't have the ceramic that will evenly heat the bottom of your pan. So your pressure cooker pan might get a burn signal or a burn alarm, which might be if something is in one place and it's too hot for too long. So ours cooks evenly. I've never had a burn signal or any warning sign at all on ours because it cooks so evenly. Ours is made super safe. So here's another thing I want you to know about it. When you are cooking with the pressure cooker, so the stainless bowl always goes in here. You never cook without it. But if you need to move your pressure cooker while you're cooking, the handles are on the bottom here. They are not, oh, sorry, I got my blender on the counter and I have it stuffed underneath the, there we go. Underneath the blender here. There we go. You don't want to worry about moving your pressure cooker, because if you have a pressure cooker where the handle is on the top, it will, if the cover's not on tight or it hasn't sealed, you might have a problem with, it loosening up and steam coming out. So you don't have to worry about that with Pampered Chef. Handles are at the bottom. Here's another thing that I thought was pretty great. I was at a Pampered Chef show. A little 3-year-old toddler walked over to the counter, and people that had the Instant Pot started freaking out that the baby was going to touch the pot and burn herself. So apparently some of the other ones on the market, I don't know, I only own the Pampered Chef one, get really hot to the touch. Ours does not. They double insulated it. So they tested like 75 different pressure cookers on the market to decide what features were important to them. The next thing that they did was they had preset settings for people like me. I am the reluctant cook. I really don't like to cook. That's why I love Pampered Chef, because they made super easy recipes for me. Hey, Dawn and Melissa and Lynn, how are ya? So what is great about this is, so there's a sear button. So let's say you're doing a beef stew or you're doing a pot roast. You're going to turn it on to sear and turn the on button. And for 20 minutes, it will be on as if you had a burner on your stove cooking, okay? So you're going to put a little oil in the bottom and you're going to sear the meat. And why do you want to do that? Because that gives you what's called a fond. That is the deep, rich flavors that come in recipes where the burnt on bits then become part of a sauce. So you don't want to skip that stage in cooking unless you come home at 5:30 and your family needs to eat by 6:30 and you just don't have time. But it only takes about 3 to 5 minutes tops. But you definitely want to sear your meat. Now you always want to make sure that there's oil in the bottom when you're searing, and then when you go to cook, you need at least 1 cup of liquid. Now that doesn't mean it has to only be water, because I'm going to teach you different recipes. Like there is a salsa chicken, which you just literally take chicken breast, throw it in, take a can of salsa, throw it in, push the button, done. And then you can chop it up with our salad choppers and put it on lettuce, or put it on fajitas, or whatever you want to do with it. I recently took my salsa chicken and I had frozen some and I just put it on nachos. So preset settings. So that was this sear. Now there's a steam button. So steam would be something like if you're cooking shrimp. Shrimp steams for like 1 minute and then it's done. Slow cook. Now, I don't know why you would use a pressure cooker for slow cook. Hi, Deb. Welcome. Hey, Suzanne. The slow cooker method is if you don't have like a slow cooker, you can use this as a slow cooker, and it even has a delayed timer on it, so you can do that as well. We have an exclusive setting on ours, which is called proofing dough. So if you bake your own bread, or you make your own pizza crust, which is a pizza crust on the stove that you can't see right now, that I proofed in here. In the winter, it's not a problem for proofing in my house because I've got the wood stove going, my house is warm enough, and your dough will proof up itself. But in the summer, when the air conditioning is running, it has a hard time proofing dough. So it brings it up to the right temperature to proof your dough that is used with the yeast the first time you use it. White rice, brown rice, and whole grains. So we have a amazing chicken broccoli risotto, and if I've come to your house and cooked this, comment below, because I've made this so many times, and I've given this as, when I'm delivering food to people who have been sick or in the hospital or having babies. It's the easiest recipe ever in this, and it takes 4 minutes to cook once it comes up to pressure, so it is super, super easy. So lots of different options. So I brought out a bag of dry beans. You can do your own beans. Like if you don't want to have to buy canned goods and stock canned goods everywhere and use like ball jar glasses, just make sure your beans are fresh. I did not know this, but your beans actually can get stale and get old, and then they won't work as well. They won't absorb the water. Chicken and poultry, which is what we're going to use tonight, beef and pork, seafood and fish, soups and stocks. Let me talk about that for a second. And then there's a separate button for beans, stews and chilies, and then desserts. So, soups. If you guys are watching my regular Facebook business page, by the way, I'm posting a lot more stuff on my business page, so if you haven't liked the business page, I'm trying to move some of that over there. I posted a picture of my deep dish covered baker, the cranberry one, and it has a whole roaster chicken in it with carrots, potatoes, and onions. When that is done tomorrow, you'll be seeing me shove the entire carcass in here with water, spices, and all of the leftover ends of my peeled carrots, the ends of my onions, ends of my broccoli, any type of leftover vegetables. I'm going to throw that in here that I have in a freezer bag right now, just waiting. Every time I, peel something, it goes in there. I'm going to cram it all in here, and I'm going to turn it to the soup button, and it's going to make homemade chicken broth so that I can make a soup out of it. So that's really great. Now desserts, my favorite part. I love desserts. I know it's New Year's. I know we're not supposed to be eating sugar, but I couldn't contain myself, so I baked a cheesecake today. So let me tell you how that worked. I put the rack in the bottom. I put a cup of water in there. I took we have this, which is, these are accessories. These will fit into your pressure cooker if you already have one. I took the ceramic bowl, which you can get this with a silicone stretch lid, which goes over it. And by the way, we now have silicone stretch lids. I'll show you for our new we have silicone prep bowls, and we have stretch lids for our 1 cup prep bowls. So you can put this on top. So you take your ceramic bowl and you put your, I use the manual food processor, put the breadcrumbs or ginger, not gingerbread, what are they called? Graham crackers. I couldn't remember. You could use Oreos. I was going to use my Girl Scout cookies. So you put that at the bottom, then you mix up in the batter bowl your cheesecake stuff, and then you just pour it in here. Look at how beautiful that is. No cracking. Do you see that, guys? No cracking. It's beautiful. So then there is a lifting rack, and you put it inside the lifting rack, and then you just lift this up and put that down inside here and pressure to the dessert setting. And then it'll cook your cheesecake, and when it's all done, now this has to just get refrigerated for tomorrow. So that's one of the accessories. Let me show you another one. And then I'm going to get my chicken going. So next accessory, if you do eggs, a lot of people are on ketos. Hi, Deb. Welcome. Hi, Summer. A lot of people are doing keto now, which is a lot of high protein and high fat. You're going to do a ton of eggs. This is a double stack egg. You can, buy them individually, but you can buy two. And you can do 2 dozen eggs at one time and do a bunch of hard-boiled eggs. So I did a bunch of these just the other day because I'm eating a lot more salads, and I like Cobb salads with avocados and eggs. In addition to using this as a regular egg holder, it will also hold 3 of our 1-cup prep bowls, which, as I said before, come with silicone lids, if I can reach them. There we go. No peeking in my messy cabinet, right? Which come with little silicone lids, and you'll notice that they have a little vent here. So some of the recipes I'm going to share with you have the cornbread, it has muffins, little cakes, you can do little egg bakes, whatever, and you can do that right in here on here. So you could do 3 in the bottom and 3 at the top, which is perfect because our 1-cup prep bowls come as a set of 6, right? So those are great. I use these all the time, and they do have the etched glass on the side, so the numbers are never going to wear off for you. All right. Next accessory that you need to know about is our baskets. These are new. So these are really cool. We have nesting baskets. So maybe you're going to put shrimp in the bottom and vegetables on top, or vice versa, vegetables on the bottom and shrimp on top. And again, 1 cup of water goes in here, and then you can just go ahead and put this right in without the 3-legged stand, and you can steam your food. So I did a recipe the other day, and I put meat in the bottom, and then on top of the meat I just put this basket in, and I had put baby red, yellow, purple, those tiny little potatoes, and I put those on top and I steamed those together. So today's recipe, oh wait, I have one more, I lied. So the Bundt pan, this is so cute. It has this little stand to make it easy for you to get it in and out of your pressure cooker, but you can make your own. And I'm going to show you, there's a breakfast berry cake. You can make your own flan. You can make your own any type of Bundt cake really with this. So what do you need to know about a pressure cooker? For starters, if the recipe says it cooks for 4 minutes, it takes more than 4 minutes to cook because it has to come up to pressure. Now, if you're cooking the risotto recipe, on average, it takes somewhere between 8 and 12 minutes for a recipe to come up to temperature. The risotto has chicken breasts that are cut into bite-sized pieces. When you are cooking with a large mass, like a roast or a chicken breast, it might take a little bit more towards the 12-minute mark, so you're going to want to add that on. You also want to know that when you're cooking from frozen, which is what we're going to do tonight, when you're cooking from frozen, it takes much longer for the machine to come up to pressure, but it doesn't take any longer to cook. So if the recipe says to cook it for 7 minutes or 8 minutes or whatever, even if it's frozen, you still only cook for that many minutes. It really is that fast. It just takes longer to come up to pressure. So that was teriyaki chicken. I'm going to take this stand and I'm going to put the stand on top of it. And then I could do one of 2 things. I could do rice in the pressure cooker, which I'm going to do. I'm going to put rice in this ceramic bowl. So I'm going to put a cup of rice in here. And depending upon what kind of rice you have, I don't know if you guys know that, but you're supposed to rinse your rice. So some people say don't rinse because rice in America has vitamins that are on it and you don't want to rinse that off. Other people say rinse it, otherwise you're going to get sticky Chinese rice. So it depends on how you like it. The recipe in the Pampered Chef cookbook says 1 cup of water. I say it needs more like 1.5 cups of water. It didn't, it was too crunchy last time. Just took a little bit longer. If you rinse your rice, it gets a little bit more, less sticky. It works a little bit better, I think. So obviously when you're adding a ceramic bowl to it, you want to use the little lifting tray because it just makes it easier to get it in and out. So chicken's in the bottom, 3-legged stand is on top of that. Put that down, and then we're going to go ahead and put this, making sure that our steam buttons are facing the right way. We're going to put it on at about 11 o'clock, and then we're going to turn it. Again, you want to make sure that that is flat so that the steam will build pressure. And then what you want to do is you're going to just turn the buttons until it says chicken poultry, which says 15 minutes. And I just want to double check. By the way, you guys are going to get a copy of this quick cooker book, and I'm going to give you my master recipe book, because in just a second I'm going to tell you all the different recipes that I found that are phenomenal. All right, so this says that we're going to adjust the time down to 9 minutes. So I turned it to the chicken and poultry, which is going to give me the amount of pressure that I need for that. And then I'm going to go down to 9 minutes and press the start button. What's going to happen now is you're going to see this blue light go around and around. It's going to go around for a while. 12 minutes if it wasn't frozen, maybe longer now that it is. When it comes up to pressure, the red turkey timer is going to pop up. As soon as it pops up, it's going to start the 9 minutes, and it's going to count down from 9. Now, just like when you're cooking meats in the oven, when you pull a chicken or a roast or even a steak out, you want to let it rest. That is a huge critical part of cooking. I did not know. I am the reluctant cook. I had no idea. I joke all the time that I don't know how to cook. I do now, but I certainly didn't when I first got married. So what does that mean, letting it rest? When you let chicken, turkey, meat sit on the counter for 10 minutes or so after it comes out of the heat, the moisture that is in the pan and stuff will reabsorb in. If you cut into your chicken before you let it rest, all the liquid's going to go out and you're going to have a really dry bird. So don't do that, okay? Let it rest. So once it comes to the 9 minutes, it's going to count all the way down. This is why I love pressure cooking, because the reluctant cook, I throw it in, I push the button, and I go run upstairs into my office, and I'm on my Facebook parties, and I'm pinging you guys, and I'm sending you recipes and doing all kinds of stuff, and then all of a sudden it goes beep, beep, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm cooking. And I come running back downstairs. Then it starts counting up. So you know how long you've missed your food by, kind of like our old Pampered Chef timer, which I hope they come back with. So you want to let meat naturally release its pressure for 10 minutes. What does that mean? After it has gone down and beeped, it'll start counting up. Once it's counted up to 10, then you take your quick cooker and you move it so that this is not underneath your cabinets. You don't want it under your cabinets, because if you do, what's going to happen is the steam is going to ruin the underneath of your cabinets. So just pull it out and turn it sideways. I honestly have mine under the counter right next to the sink, and I just turn it out so that it faces over the sink, and the steam, when you go to push this button, will release up over the sink and it won't hit the counters at all. So I'm just going to push this back here because it really doesn't matter at this point what's happening on there. And I want to tell you some other things, because this is where you guys are really here. You want to know, like, what am I going to cook and why do I want one of these, right? So for those of you who tuned in late, I want to let you know that if you don't own a pressure cooker, you can get ours for $96 this month in January if you collect just $200 in outside orders, like for a catalog show. Or if you want to do a virtual party with me, you haven't done one in a while, I do block parties now, and they're 3 days. You're in with a couple of hostesses. It's really quick, and I'm doing fresh and healthy themes. You can get the pressure cooker, you can get the stainless steel wok, you can get the rock crock with the slow cooker stand, the double burner grill pan, and in just a minute I'm going to make peanut butter in our deluxe cooking blender. So breakfast, I'm going to list off a bunch of stuff, but again, you're going to get recipes for this. Breakfast, what can I make for breakfast in my pressure cooker? How about oatmeal, hard-boiled eggs, an egg bake in those little cakes, muffins, a Mexican breakfast casserole, lemon cranberry farro. Farro is a ancient grain that is even better than quinoa and better than, brown rice. It's really good and high protein for you. Quinoa breakfast and berries with almonds, berry and cream breakfast bundt cake, apple cherry breakfast risotto, cranberry baked French toast, crustless quiches, cinnamon rolled steel cut oats, coconut vanilla syrup, carrot cake oatmeal, cinnamon raisin bread pudding with a caramel sauce, and more. Lunches. Anything from pasta. I posted a recipe. I did a pasta visual in my rock crock Dutch oven, and Sandy Forster had asked, hey, can you do that in the pressure cooker? And I was like, yes, you can. Pasta takes about 4 to 5 minutes depending upon the recipe. So you would sear your meat and you would use the mix and chop on the sear button. You would scramble the hamburger with that mix and chop tool. Then you would add all the rest of your ingredients, push the button, and then you get up and running. So one of the things I forgot to tell you is that although I didn't add water to this, I had at least a cup of, or at least I hope I have, a cup of water in the bottom. Since the pressure timer didn't come up, I think what I'm going to do is take the rest of my water and I'm going to put it in the bottom here, just in case. Hang on just a sec. Go back to 15 time and then down because I forgot to add the extra water. That's why I had 2 cups of water in here, a cup and a half there, and an extra half a cup to go with the barbecue sauce. Okay, so now let's go to lunch. Pasta. How about chicken salsa? How about red lentil and spinach soup? Maybe egg roll bowl. Have you heard of the egg roll bowl? I got a recipe for you for that. Dinner, shrimp and steamed veggies, chicken teriyaki with rice, beef. And by the way, you can buy beef. You can ask your butcher at the grocery store, just so you know. You don't have to be the one that cuts it up into tiny pieces. If you go to the butcher and you say, I would like 2 pounds of chicken breast cut into cube-sized pieces, and I would like 1 chuck roast cut into blah, 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 and I would like 1 London broil cut into small, thin strips for doing beef and broccoli. You literally can ask your butcher and they'll do that for free. So you don't have to be the one that cuts it all up. But if you do cut, and I almost stepped on Gracie. Those of you who know and love my dog, she's at my feet right behind me in case I drop something while I'm cooking. Goldens, don't you love them? When you're using a knife, you must hone your knife. This is a honing tool, and a lot of my guests don't know that. I didn't know that. Again, the reluctant cook. I didn't know any of this. When you use a knife, if you don't hone it like this through this tool a couple of times a week on a professional knife, you are not keeping a sharp blade. Pasta, what selection? It's automatic time, so custom time, Melissa. So you would come and you would turn time, custom time, and then you would come over to the side dials and push the number all the way down to 4. You would cover it in spaghetti sauce, or you would cover it with enough liquid that it covers your pasta, at least 1 cup, but just cover your pasta. And then 4 to 5 minutes, depending upon the pasta, but usually 4, and I'll send you the recipes. So really great idea about having the butcher do it. So sharpen your knives every week. Well, not sharpen, hone them. You need to sharpen them once, maybe every 2 years, so that they're good and sharp. When you use a knife, it bends in one direction or another, or gets little barbs on it like this. So honing it brings it back into balance and it'll cut smooth. Dinner, shrimp, steamed veggies, beef, barbecued ribs. Oh my gosh, got the best recipe. Put a can of root beer in here, put the ribs in here, turn the button on. It's going to cook them great. Then open it up, throw in your favorite barbecue sauce, turn it on to sear, warm it up a little bit, you're good to go. You can do roast. My husband loves to do pot roast in here. It comes out so great, and it's really that easy. You like stick it in, put in, a little bit of seasoning, and off you go. So chicken breast, chicken thighs, chicken legs, a whole chicken. If you haven't seen my video of me cooking a whole honking big chicken, I did. Soup, stews, chilies, broccoli and cheese, red lentil, chicken barley, bean soup, salmon with green beans in the baskets that I just showed you here. American chop suey, chicken pot pie. I am going to try barbecued bacon meatloaf this weekend. Doesn't that sound good? Now, desserts, cheesecake, bundt cakes, regular cakes. We have an apple cake that I'm going to show you. Puddings, like rice puddings or custards or chocolate pudding. You can do side dishes. So for Thanksgiving, you know how you're using all your burners on your stove for Thanksgiving? Well, I did all of my mashed potatoes in the quick cooker because what happens when it's done cooking? It just stays warm, right? And I didn't mash it yet, so nothing got mushy or dried out. It was fabulous. So I did mashed potatoes in here, and I literally filled that up to the top of that fill line with potatoes. You could do potato salad, pasta, rice, mashed root vegetables. So if you're all on a healthy kick, because it's the new year, and I love turnip and rutabaga and squash. I love those things. And you guys will see me many a days. I go Facebook Live all the time. If I don't know what I feel like for breakfast, I literally cut one of these in half. I turn it upside down in the glass sealed containers for like storing soup and stuff like that with water, and then I literally cook it in the microwave upside down for 15 minutes. You don't need butter, you don't need anything on it. It's fabulous. Okay, so proofing dough. Did you know that you can use the proof button on ours to make yogurt? I just found that out today talking to somebody. I was like, what? So I will get a recipe for that. I don't have it yet, but I will get a recipe for that. So lots and lots of really great recipes. And there is a site that I'm going to link you to that a lot of these recipes are on, and then I'm going to give you the Pampered Chef ones. So when my cheesecake is all cool tomorrow, I'll be adding this onto it. And unfortunately, my neighbor's husband passed, so I'm going to be bringing some food over to them tomorrow. I don't know, he wasn't that old. So so that's the pressure cooker 101. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, and side dishes that you can do in it, how to run it, how to work it. For custom time, you can push custom here, custom pressure, custom time. So you might find recipes that you want to have it on a high pressure. So certain rices cook faster on high pressure, whereas ours has an automatic white rice and brown rice, but maybe you're doing a different type of rice and you want to make sure that you're following the recipe. You can just bypass these and just use the custom, and you can go up and down on the time. So I have like a minute and a half left, so I wanted to show you guys. I want to tell you two things. Pasta, what selection? So for pasta, you're not going to turn the dials here. You're going to turn the machine, plug the machine in, and you're going to hit custom, Melissa, the custom button, and then the time button. And then you're going to come over to the side here, because custom time I think is an automatic default of like 15 minutes or 30. And then you're just going to push the down button, down button, down button until it gets to the right temperature. And I'll do a little video on that where I just show that, and then I start the machine, so that I'll have that in my arsenal of videos that I can play in my virtual parties. So a lot of you guys that are on are past hostesses or customers of mine. So here's two things you need to know about. One, I need to use original photos in my virtual parties now, because Facebook again has changed all the rules, and if I use Pampered Chef photos and I don't edit them, I'm going to end up in Facebook jail, which means I can't post it all on Facebook. I can't message you. I can't comment in my own parties. It's just annoying. So I'm creating my own virtual party. I can hear this. I can hear it. It's almost up. It's like pop, pop, pop. I'm creating my own photos. But if you are cooking in a Pampered Chef product and you take a photo, two things you need to know. Either take a photo top down, those make really good photos, or straight on, like get down or turn your phone so the camera's down and kind of shoot straight on, and you post, please tag me. There is another Sue Moulton who's a Pampered Chef consultant, and she lives in Concord, like 15 minutes from here. So tag me so that your friends know where to get their Pampered Chef stuff from. Plus, if I use your photo, if I message you and say, hey, that's a great photo, can I use your photo in my virtual parties, you're going to get entered into a raffle, and I'm going to periodically raffle off some of my extra products for those people who take really good photos, because I need photos for myself and my team. So start taking photos when you cook, girls. Okay, so I'm going to do a raffle, but I want to show you the quick cooker, deluxe cooking blender making peanut butter, because I need peanut butter. So, cooking blender. So, say goodbye to my Ninja. Say goodbye to all of my favorite old blenders. They're gone, because this thing does it all. I have made, I've ground Parmesan cheese in it. I have ground my coffee in it. I have made homemade marinara. Why is this different than other ones that you're going to see on the market? And by the way, you can get this for $139 this month. This has a heating element in it. No other one on the market has its own heating element. They only use friction to cook the food. So this won't use friction. This actually brings it up to temperature, so that the exclusive part of this is you can make jellies and jams. There's a patent pending on this design. So I made my own homemade strawberry jam, and you'll see pictures of it. I literally poured strawberries in there and the pectin in there, and then you turn it to the jam setting and you push the button, and then you walk away, and when the machine beeps at you, you come back and you pour your sugar in through this top section right here, and then it cooks it, it brings it up to the right temperature and everything. So if you make your own jellies, like I just made a hot pepper jelly to put over cream cheese for the holidays, and now I'm giving it out to my friends because I made a boatload of hot pepper jelly. You could do that. You can also make sauces, like a hollandaise sauce, or if you want to make a sauce to go over a dish, you can make heated purees. So like carrot puree or broccoli puree to put I'm talking too fast, to put into your soup. So we have like a cauliflower soup that you can make, or a carrot soup that you can make, and then you can add different flavors into it throughout the week. It has a heated wash. Oh my gosh, it cleans itself. It's like George Jetson's, you know, it's like you're in the space age with George Jetson. And it has obviously a smoothie button. It has a manual button so you can decide fast or slow and grind anyway. And then it has alternative milk. So if you know anybody who's dairy free, that might be a really good thing if they're making their own almond milk. So I just bought at Sam's Club dry roasted peanuts. This has sea salt. They do say don't use salt, but then you salt it later. So I'm like, whatever. This is pretty cheap. This is like $3. I'm going to be able to get 2 full Teddy's peanut butter jars of peanut butter out of this. And I'm putting nothing else in here. So I'm opening this up. I'm putting in a half a jar of peanuts. That's about it. Maybe a little bit more. And then I'm just going to put it on the grind setting. I'm going to put it on grind. And then I'm going to push the center button in. It's going to get loud for a minute. And it's going to start grinding. And as it grinds, I'm going to use this. This is called a tamper, to push it down around the sides. And what you need to know is that this won't ever hit the blade. It doesn't need the last minute. It's actually all done. So it didn't even take 2 minutes. And I have 7 minutes left on dinner, and it's going to be ready. And look at that amazing peanut butter. It is just so good. So I want you guys to private message me, and everybody that watched here today, if you private message, and if you watch this as a playback, tomorrow I'll do the drawing, or maybe Friday, because tomorrow I'm out snowshoeing. But I have some extra rings, and I have an egg cooker. So if you are interested in booking a party for January, you're going to get the free half price and discounted, plus January, by the way, is double free products. So for those of you who haven't hosted in a while, if you hit $650 in guest sales, you get twice as much for free as any time in the entire year. So that's great. And you're going to get 20 bonus tickets into our drawing to win one of the pressure cooker parts. All right, 20 extra tickets if you go ahead and book a party. If you know somebody that's going to book a party, I will give you the tickets if your friend books a party in January. I have virtual parties going January 13th and the following Monday. So let me know. Thanks for watching Sue's Cooking, aka The Reluctant Chef, and I will see you guys online for my next class. Somebody was saying that they wanted to see one pot meals, so I'm going to come live with that the next viewing. So thanks again for watching.